Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're here in my laundry room because today I'm going to be replacing the slop sink and the faucet that's attached to it. Now this thing's been dripping pretty much since we bought the house back in 2016, and it's finally gotten to the point where I've gotten tired enough to do something about it. So it seems like this should be a pretty easy replacement. They still make this model of slop sink, and then the faucet is also pretty standard, and the space in between the hot and the cold lines on the faucet is also standard. So I should pretty much be able to take this one out and put a new one back in without too much difficulty. Anyway, let's get into it. This area of my laundry room tends to accumulate junk, so the first task is getting it all cleaned up. Before cutting any pipes, I turned off water to the house and then drained the system. This sink is the low point of the house, so after I opened the faucet farthest away upstairs, the rest of the hot and cold lines all drained here. I'll start by cutting off the piping going to the old faucet. The drain pipe is connected with a metal compression nut that's gotten pretty corroded over the years, so it needed a bit of persuasion to get off. Interestingly enough, they still make this exact model of slop sink almost 50 years later, so this is a direct replacement. The feet of the sink are independently adjustable for leveling the sink. Now, one of the things you'll have to do if you get one of these clamp-on style faucets is you gotta get one of these faucet blocks, because there's really nothing for this thing to mount to on the sink with these three holes here. So this block just kind of sits on top here, and then the faucet gets clamped to it. Probably not really necessary, but I used some plumber's dope to bed this block down so water doesn't leak past it. Since the sink is a direct replacement, I can reuse the old drain pipe without needing to make any modifications to the drain routing. With the sink level and in place, I measure for the lengths of the new pieces of copper pipe. I'm reusing some old pipe that I tore out when we remodeled our kitchen. Alright, so I screwed up just now. The little connector piece that I put on the faucet looks like this. And it does have a little slot at the bottom where a 1/2-inch pipe will fit in. But instead what you really want to do is get one of these threaded adapters, screws into there, and then you put the 1/2-inch pipe into there, and then you just solder into the threads and then into where the pipe sleeves in. So the measurements I'm taking all need to be adjusted a bit to account for this height difference. Before soldering, I clean the copper pipe and fittings to bare metal for the best joint. Don't forget to replace the O-rings on these fittings. Also, before connecting everything together, put these coupling nuts on the pipe so you can tighten them up after everything is soldered. After letting the pipes cool down, I turn the water back on to the house. Alright, well, the new sink is in. The water pressure to the rest of the house is all the way back on, and nothing's leaking, so I'll call that a success. Now, as I'm sure you saw, I'm not the world's best plumber, so hopefully you were able to learn from a couple of the mistakes I made, namely putting these threaded fittings here at the bottom, and also not forgetting to put these coupling nuts onto the pipe before you solder everything together so that you can actually tighten it down later. Anyway, the new sink's looking good, and I'm glad to have this one checked off the list. Thanks for following along. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.